And we are joined now by Chris Bosman, the event chair for the 7th Annual Family Fishing Derby for Kids with Cancer, as presented by JCI. And this year, for the second year in a row, however, this is an event which is weather permitting. And for the second year in a row, the weather is not permitting the fishing derby, is it?
Blaine, unfortunately, Mother Nature hasn't cooperated this year. The ice conditions at this point just aren't safe to host a large event on the ice with a lot of children and families out. So we decided to go with Plan B this year.
You decided you didn't want to make the 6 o'clock news for all the wrong reasons. So it's always good to have a Plan B in place. And you had the benefit this year of having had to do this last year. Last year you were figuring it out for the first time. This year you knew what you were going to do ahead of time, for the most part, didn't you?
That's right, yes. So this year, the event is still going to be held on the same day, same times, but it will be at Fort Steele Heritage Town. And so they do an excellent job of hosting large events, and so we're thrilled to be able to be there this time.
What kind of stuff do you then do when you go to Fort Steele?
Well, a lot of the day's activities are going to be similar. We'll still have some games and events. We'll have a 50-50 draw. We're going to have a silent auction. There's going to be hot food and beverages there. So it still will be a good time with the family, certainly.
We have some footage here. I'll get you to take a look at this footage. This is from last year, and you can see, look at that. Look at all that grass. It looks a little different this year. Not quite as warm as last year, but I mean, you got the horses out on the carriage. How did that go over with all the kids that thought they were going to be fishing?
Yeah, it was a bit different, but I think we have to sort of roll with the punches, and we made the best of things. And anyone that was out last year had a good time, certainly.
And that's the important thing. And you raised a lot of money doing it. How much money were you able to raise last year?
Last year we came in at about almost $8,000 raised towards local families that have children facing cancer. So that all got transferred over to the Canadian Cancer Society. So, in comparison to years previous where it's been on the ice, it's not quite as much. But, given the situation, we were quite happy to have been able to raise that.
And speaking of years previous, we do have, this is what it is supposed to look like. Check this out. This is 2 years ago. As you can see, that looks a little more like a fishing derby. You've got quite a few people out on the ice there at Horseshoe. How was that turn out? How does that look?
Yeah, it looks a lot different, doesn't it? You can have, on a good year, well over 1,000 participants. Folks come from all over the East Kootenay. You've got a lot of families, you've got pets, you have a lot of people with their line in the water fishing and enjoying the day.
What kind of conditions do you need to be able to, it doesn't have to be too cold, but it has to be cold enough that that ice is a certain level of depth to it?
That's right, yeah. Ideally you'd like at least 8 inches of solid ice to be able to hold a larger event. Preferably more than that, and so when you've got that many people on the ice, you have tents, you've got a couple of all-terrain vehicles. You need to make sure that it's going to be safe for an event of that size.
And you were mentioning that you actually had a bit of an eye-opening experience, shall we say, when you went out to test that ice.
Yeah, this year our committee's been pretty diligent about checking in to the conditions on a regular basis, and I actually went through the ice near shore about a week and a half ago.
Scary experience?
I wasn't too deep, but it certainly gives you an appreciation for being safe out there and making sure that we've got the conditions that we need.
So what do you call this now? This is no longer the Family Fishing Derby. What are we calling it now?
Well, we're calling it the Family Fun Day.
Family Fun Day, that works.
Yeah, and so Family Fun Day at historic Fort Steele. So
there you go. There you have it. Is there a website?
Yes, we've got a website. We've got a Facebook page. Certainly there's been a lot of posters around town.
Any idea what the forecast is for that day?
Well, we were looking at it fairly closely. I think it's about the same as it has been, but we'd like to see some sun. It'd be nice.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for stopping by and visiting us here on Go, and all the best at this year's event.
Thanks for your interest, Blaine.